All right, the ACORN scandal continues to widen tonight. In fact, it now spans all the way to the West Coast. Now, over the past few days, you have seen videos of ACORN officials offering to help set up underage prostitution rings in Baltimore, Washington, and New York. But tonight, we take you to San Bernardino, California, where the most shocking undercover footage was captured to date. Now, the investigation in California began like all of the others. Let's take a look.
This has to do with my girlfriend's unique line of work.
Oh, okay. What is it? Is it stripping? No, it's not. Is it exotic dancing? No, it's prostitution. Oh, okay. Yeah, is that okay? It's okay with me. Okay. I think it should be totally legalized.
And it didn't take long to find out why this ACORN official was so understanding. Just listen to this.
You know, a long time ago, myself, although I don't think ACORN knows it, not that I care whether they do or don't, what we called escorts, yeah. You know, and I ran a service. Really? Yeah. Well, Heidi Fleiss is my hero.
And if things couldn't get any worse for ACORN, the official who has already admitted to running a call girl service is now about to reveal her own involvement in a much more serious crime. Let's take a look at this.
I, in my life, have been abused also. I mean, just with an ex-husband, yeah. You know, that just beat the hell out of me, you know, a few times, and then, you know, I killed him.
How old are you then?
It was only actually about, well, I was 35.
Was he abusing you when you shot him? Or
no, not right that instant. He came at me, and I let him throw me around a little bit, you know, and then I just picked up the gun and said, you, and I shot him. And he died right there.
And back with us tonight from BigGovernment.com is Andrew Breitbart and Hannah Giles, who played the prostitute in that video, only 20 years old. So you say, I'm a prostitute. Oh, okay.
Yeah, completely accepting.
All right, and then she admits she herself was an escort.
Yeah. And not only was she an escort, but she ran the service, the escort girl service.
Yeah. So. All right. There are three things that really strike me in this video tonight. The first is that she admits, you very specifically say underage girls that you are going to bring in from other countries. And she's like, oh, she's totally fine with that. Yeah. And you basically say you want to take them from this pimp or this other guy, and that you want them to work for you, the underage girls. Yeah. Walk us through that and what she says.
Not only did we explain that we were going to bring in underage girls from El Salvador to run, to live in the house and run a brothel and, you know, make money off of them, but we also explained to her that if they were abused, physically abused, like punched, kicked, we would get more money off of them, and so that was going to be going on in the house also. And she began to explain that, oh, well, you know, you can bring it to the level of decency or indecency that you want. So she was fine with child abuse, using the girls', you know, bodies to fund James's political campaign.
Andrew, 4 cities in a row. Now this is a group that is on par now to get what? $8.5 billion in stimulus funds.
Well, it's not just a case of vetting, those that weren't vetted by the press before the election as in individuals like Van Jones. It's about actually looking at a group like ACORN, which is set to get so much more money than it ever has historically and be granted so much power. And the amount of email that is coming into big government right now, I don't think we're going to have to hire 200 people to deal with the tentacles of ACORN and how it goes into our government, how it is currently working in ways that don't even appear legal, you know, at first glance.
When you put it all together, and it's all 4 cities, and by the way, there's another one tomorrow night.
It's California also. I mean, if you look last week, it was Baltimore, Washington, and then New York. I mean, they've gone across the country here.
Why did you decide to release it this way, you know, a day at a time?
I think that's an important question. when the Van Jones story came out, well, we all know that the media, to call it bias at this point, there has to be a stronger word. It's duplicity.
Journalism's dead.
Look, I think this is the perfect exposure of the Democrat media complex. It's not bias. It just happens to be a group of people who have a common interest. Fine. Well, now there's an alternative to it. The reason why was when they came to me to tell me about this thing, I said, if you were to drop this, if you were to go to ABC, if you were to CBS or NBC, they'd laugh you out of the place. And I suggested to them, maybe you should put the camera, you know, and pitch them the story and put that up on the internet
That would
too.
be worth it too.
Yeah, I don't.
Let me go to the other aspect of this, which we just showed here. Now, not only does she admit to, if I heard her correctly, running a prostitution ring. Heidi Fleiss is my idol. Is that the right?
Yeah, her hero.
Her hero. Okay. Specifically, now she goes into this scenario about her husband and the killing of him.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain exactly, because I want to make sure people understand it.
So this is exactly what happened. She said she was abused by her husband and that she killed him. Now, if a woman's getting abused, she has the right to defend herself. Now, and I went ahead and I asked her, oh, was he abusing you when you killed him? And she goes, no, not right that instant. Which is huge.
All right, so she's saying she killed her husband or created the plot to kill her husband?
Right, and then after we, you know, she goes, well, she tried to cover up for saying she didn't kill him in self-defense and said she went around to the community and let different groups know that she was being abused. And so it's basically like she set up the murder of her husband.
Have you ever checked to see if, in fact, she had a husband that was killed?
We're working on that.
You haven't gotten the details on that?
There's so much stuff coming in. There are more than 4 cities.
So she could have been. She could have just. In fairness, she could have just been.
She certainly does exist, and if you look on the internet, you can see that she's also involved on the other side of ACORN political side. So she is a community organizer in the political sense as well.
There is a criminal record also for her if you look her up in different things, and then you
so
have
you're really investigating that now.
We're working on that.
So she's on tape admitting that she plotted to kill and had her husband killed, but we don't know if it's true yet.
We don't know if it's true. And she also threatened to kill someone else.
All right, now, you both are being threatened with a lawsuit along with James O'Keefe, who's the filmmaker, who we've also had on the program. What is the status of that?
Well, interestingly, today, Baltimore, the Baltimore charter, they were the ones that were threatening a lawsuit along with the Baltimore city attorney. I believe it was the city attorney who happened to run on the platform of helping children and abused children. Great irony there. But we just found out that the Baltimore chapter of ACORN had lost its charter because it had lapsed in the last year.
All right, I got a last question. What are we going to have on the program? You're not going to air it until tomorrow night exclusively on this program, the next phase. What's tomorrow night?
Shocking.
Yeah, well, we go towards the border, and criminality suggested that relates to that neck of the woods.
Is tomorrow the worst tape, even worse than tonight? Or?
It really depends on your criminal palate.
It depends. It's a judgment call.
Right.
All right, guys, great work, and we're going to have much more on the widening scandal that is unfolding in this investigation into ACORN. We'll check